All right, welcome, true believers. I am back for another installment of the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries. And I am your host, John Krupa. Today's case is of a stalker. And it's going to be a part 1 and part 2 because yours truly was down in Nashville, Tennessee. And I got inspired to do this case because this case is legendary out there in Music Row, Nashville, Tennessee. It's called the Murder on Music Row. And this is the case of a stalker who was stalking Kevin Hughes. This case has been solved. The mystery is, why did the person stalk him and kill him? Just because he wouldn't play his little game. We're going to get into this case, tell you all about it in case you don't know about it. And there's also going to be scenes from Nashville from yours truly when I videotaped it when I was down there this past week. So join me for the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries, guys. We're going to start in a second. Alright, guys, well, today is National Take a Hike Day. So we thought we'd put on some hiking music on in the background. Also, I was out doing some outdoor activities, chores, prior to making this video, so it's kind of like a nature theme going on today as we draw Kevin Hughes and tell you about his story. Kevin Hughes, his real name was Kevin Wayne Hughes. He had no nicknames. The location of this crime was in Nashville, Tennessee. The date was March 9th, 1989. The case details were as followed. 23-year-old Kevin Hughes came to Nashville, Tennessee with dreams of making it big in the business side of the city's music industry. His mother, Barbara, remembered that starting in grade school, he began listening to country music and buying Billboard magazines. He even made up his own charts with music rankings. In '86, he left college to become the director of Cashbox magazine's top 100 country and western chart. So he was going to college. He stopped going to college to pursue his dream. And sometimes that's the way it works out. As chart director, he received playlist reports each week from radio stations across the country. Based on those reports, he would rank records from 1 to 100 according to their popularity. A high position in one of these charts could be very influential to the career of a new musical artist. So he had a pretty powerful job and was kind of a big deal at that place called the Cashbox. He was kind of a big deal around there. As we listen to hiking music on this National Take a Hike Day, people tell you to take a hike all the time. Well, today you can actually take them literally. Go take a hike. At least people tell me to go take a hike a lot. According to the record promoter Chuck Dixon, the job of the chart director was a lot of work, but he felt that Kevin was the best and most fair out of all the directors he had worked with. His friend and co-worker Sharon noted that he was very kind, religious, trustworthy, and loyal. According to her, he loved his jobs and he put in dozens of hours of overtime. Although their shift was over at 5 p.m., he would often be there working on the chart until 9 or 10 p.m. He was religious too. I heard he didn't even cuss, swear. By early '89, Kevin had been chart director for about a year. On the night of Thursday, March 9th, he was once again working late, making final adjustments to that week's chart. That evening, his friend Sammy Sadler, an aspiring singer-songwriter, dropped by to say hello. At Kevin's suggestion, the two left the office at approximately 8:30 p.m. to go to a nearby restaurant for dinner. After dinner, they made an unplanned stop at Evergreen Records. The company where Sammy worked, so that he could use the phone to call his parents. He and Sammy were in there for about 10 minutes while he was using the phone. Sammy heard someone trying to open the door. Kevin went out to the front and saw a man walking away from the building. He thought the man was black, but he was not certain. Sammy then decided to end the call to his parents. The two then left the building. So, right about now, this guy is suspected, his friend is suspected someone is following them, someone is stalking them, and his suspicions were about to be right. They were about to be proven right. Someone did indeed stalk them and try to kill them also. As they walked to Kevin's car, Sammy looked around but did not see anyone. He went around the front of Kevin's car and sat down in the front passenger seat. As he was about to close the door, an unknown gunman appeared on the sidewalk next to the car and shot him. Kevin tried to flee down the road, but the gunman caught up to him and shot him several times. Sammy survived the brutal attack, despite a bullet that severed a major artery in his arm. Kevin was shot 3 times. 2 of the bullets entered the back of his head. He was dead when the police arrived at the scene. Now, if you pay attention to that, the mystery is, why did the gunman not go back and finish Sammy off when he shot him in the arm and then he ran and chased Kevin? I believe in this mystery it was solved. The gunman was intended for Kevin the whole time. So the gunman was stalking just Kevin. Sammy just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is kind of sad to say for him, but he did It's even sadder for Kevin because he did not make it, but Sammy ended up making it and being a survivor. The gunman had a mask on, so it was a mystery of who the heck did this for a while. From the beginning, the police had difficulty with their investigation. Detective Bill Pridemore noted that they had no motive. Suspects are solid witnesses. Even though 5 people witnessed the shooting, no one could give a good description of the gunman. The next day, rumors began to circulate through Nashville that Kevin's murder was a professional hit. Some people in the music industry and the media speculated that he had either been mixed up in or refused to participate in a chart manipulation scheme. On the surface, it looked like a good theory. Kevin was in the position to accept money from a promoter or an artist and move their record up in the charts. Like move their number up. They would give him payola, and he would move their number up from, say it was 5, they would put him on 2 or 1. And we are talking about 89 here. There was no internet, there was no social media. This billboard was a big deal. It was a huge deal. Enough to motivate someone to kill over. However, the police found no evidence that he was involved in that type of scheme. They also felt that his job was not important enough to be killed for. Professional hit theory also did not make sense because Sammy was there and there was no reason to involve him. There were also several other witnesses there. The gunman could have waited until Kevin was alone. Furthermore, Sammy noted that their movements that night, including dinner and their visit to Evergreen Records, were unplanned. A second theory was that Kevin and Sammy were the tragic victims of a robbery gone wrong. Now that doesn't mean that that guy didn't know these two. And that's why he knew this theory would work if the gunman knew them. So the police were initially incorrect on their assumption that it was not a stalker hitman situation, when in fact it was. There were several violent crimes in Nashville in the years preceding the shooting. However, this theory also seemed unlikely because nothing was ever spoken between the victims and the gunman. Also, the gunman chased down Kevin and killed him, making a point to make sure he was dead. Even after shooting Kevin twice in the head, the gunman never made any attempt to take any money from him or Sammy. Another theory connected to Kevin's work was that he may have been the target of an angry manager or performer with misguided grudge. The individual may have wanted to blame him for their song record not being successful. Dixon brought up this theory but also felt that it was unlikely. He does not believe that Kevin's murder was music related. For Sammy, the nightmare that began that night continues. Following the shooting, he underwent surgery in his right arm. He may need more to repair nerve damage caused by the gunman's bullet. Although he continues to pursue a singing career, he has been unable to play a guitar since the shooting. He hopes that someone will come forward to help solve this case. One possible clue to the gunman's identity was a baseball cap found near Kevin's body on the night of the murder. It bears the inscription, World War II veteran and damn proud of it, as well as a drawing of a combat infantryman. Police theorize that may have fallen from the killer's coat as he leaned over Kevin and fired the fatal shots. They have been unable to locate the owner or manufacturer. Suspects. It is not known if the man Kevin saw near Evergreen Records was the gunman. He was described as either a black male, or a white male with a ski mask. The gunman was believed to have dropped a hat that was found at the scene with the inscription World War II veteran and damn proud of it, with a picture of a combat infantryman. Several theories came about surrounding Kevin's murder. One was that Kevin had been involved in or was a witness to chart manipulation schemes. However, there appeared to be no evidence that he would have been involved in this type of scheme. Did the gunman know Kevin? And was he stalking him that night? It seemed like he does know him. He knew his habits. He knew he would stay late at night working in the office. This guy was a good-looking, talented young kid. It's a shame it got taken away from him at such an early age. Another theory was that Kevin and Sammy were victims of a robbery gone wrong. However, this theory also does not make sense, as the assailant had shot them both without attempting to steal anything from them. Also, the assailant chased Kevin down and executed him. An armed robber would most likely not go to these lengths to kill someone. Yet another theory was that Kevin was the target of a misguided grudge from an angry manager or performer. So this is Richard D'Antonio, and this is the guy that did it. The results are in 2002 of July, 56-year-old Richard F. Tony D'Antonio, a former employee of the Cash Box, was arrested in Vegas and charged with Kevin's murder. So that was the guy that did it. We still don't have a reason why. He basically knew him and worked with him and planned this out, premeditated this, stalked him. He had a criminal record that included drug charges, aggravated assault, and aggravated burglary. Interestingly, he was the one who had given Kevin the job at the cash box in the first place. Investigators determined that Kevin had found out that D'Antonio had been accepting money to place artists on the cash box music chart list. He had also learned that Chuck Dixon was behind the scheme. Kevin allegedly refused to be involved in the scheme and wanted to tell the truth. Authorities believe that Dixon and D'Antonio had D'Antonio kill Kevin in order to keep him quiet. A witness told police that Dixon said Kevin would be handled or gone so that he would not be able to reveal the truth about the scheme. He also later told people that if they told the truth about it, the same thing that happened to Kevin will happen to them. However, Dixon died in 2001 before he could be charged with his involvement in this case. So the guy that hired him was actually the guy that killed him. And another coworker hired the guy that hired Kevin to carry out this dastardly plan to stalk him that night. And apparently it was to be done that night because he did not care if the friend was along. He apparently had specific instructions to carry this out that night, and no non-negotiable. It was to be done. What was done had to be done in their mind. So this is a clear case of not wanting to go along to get along to go along to get along. He was not having it, this guy. He said, I am sticking with my integrity and I'm not following you guys, what you're doing. I don't agree with it. I'm not going to do it. And he may have even said, I'm going to expose you guys for the frauds that you are, because you make me sick. I mean, these are all things that were probably said that got him killed. Along with the cash box scheme, other evidence connected D'Antonio to the murder. He matched the description by witnesses of the shooter. One witness noticed that he walked with an unusual side-to-side gait, which was similar to how D'Antonio walked at the time due to a back problem. Black cat hair found in the hat left at the scene was similar to a cat that D'Antonio owned at the time. So a mountain of circumstantial evidence against the guy that hired this guy. And this case is famous in the Nashville area. When I was asking if I was close to where it happened, everybody, even a restaurant worker at the restaurant I was attending, he heard about the case. He knew it as the Music Row murder. And he told me I was right near it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my camera at the time with the exact spot, but I took some video shots of near Music Row in Nashville, and we're gonna show you that in part 1 of this video, and this will be part 2. It's gonna be a 2-parter, just because I haven't given you guys anything for so long. I gotta give you a 2 for today. Also, a witness told police that he had sold a .38 pistol to D'Antonio shortly before the murder, and a .38 pistol was used in that murder. The witness gave D'Antonio ammunition, which was the same type that was used to kill Kevin. The witness also told police that on the day of the murder, D'Antonio had test-fired the weapon into the witness's backyard. Investigators recovered the bullets from that test firing from the yard. One was determined to have been fired from the same gun that killed Kevin. The witness, along with D'Antonio's wife, were told by him to lie about his whereabouts in order to create an alibi for him. Investigators did not believe he could have been the shooter until the witnesses came forward and told the truth. In September 2003, D'Antonio was convicted of first-degree murder and assault with intent to commit second-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison, and he died in September 2014. Sadly, Kevin's mother, Barbara, passed away on February 14, 2020. Fortunately, Sammy was able to recover from his injuries, and he continues to make music. And that does it for this case, guys. This is the case of Kevin Hughes, someone that got stalked and murdered because he did not want to go along to get along. He had integrity, guys, and I think it's a lesson to learn. It's always good to have integrity, but sometimes it gets you killed. But it's better to have it than have it in your heart and not use it at all. So until next time, guys, this is a 2-parter. Hope you enjoy the scenes of Nashville, Tennessee. Peace out, true believers.